I guess it was an interesting video on Wild Rift. So they were back with the patch 2.4C review. Now, this is a pretty small patch, but it does have some changes, of course. Now, in case you guys didn't know yet, ARAM is now a permanent game mode. So it's no longer like in trial phase, in beta phase. It's now just permanently there. So you guys can always be able to play ARAM. Now, personally, I think that's very good because it does allow you to play a casual game mode, and also for a lot of like events or quests, sometimes ARAM is very easy, like maybe like doing damage or like accumulating gold kind of quest. And yeah, and in case you guys didn't watch my last patch notes review, we're not going to be doing it in 4K, we're just going to do it at 720p so I can push out the video faster, because the higher quality the video, the longer it takes to process on YouTube. And you know, there isn't too much good things to see, it's just a wall of text anyways. So first up, we got new skins. We got High Noon, Lucian, and Senna. Definitely going to be picking up that High Noon Lucian skin when it comes out. And together with that, we have two emotes, two corresponding emotes, as well as I believe this is a bauble, which is sort of like the tumbleweed, you know, kind of going into that cowboy kind of theme. So now for the champion changes, not too much. First up, Lucian getting a skin, so Lucian's getting a buff as well. They are reverting his health nerf and his cooldown nerf on his E. Now personally, I did feel that after Lucian got nerfed himself, like his base AD, his base health, and his E cooldown got nerfed, combined with the price increase of the Essence Reaver, the Solari Charge Blade, as well as the nerfs to Essence Reaver and Solari Charge Blade, I think Lucian got hit very, very hard in a 1-2 punch kind of combo. He got hit everywhere, and Lucian isn't really too strong anymore. If I were to make a tier list for this patch, which I think I will sooner or later, I don't think he is in the S plus tier anymore. At best, he's at S tier, but he really isn't that good of an ADC or a mid laner anymore, which is why you see him a lot less. He's no longer that strong. Now, in the meantime, Rammus. Yeah, I forgot to mention, I think that these changes will help him a lot, but I don't think it would make too big of a difference. Just a 1 second cooldown change and 40 health, don't think it's going to make too much of a difference. Rammus actually getting some adjustments, so now he was clearing camps a little bit too fast for a ganking jungler, because of course junglers that are focused on ganking like Rammus and Nunu generally only clear their buffs and don't clear camps too fast, just so that they can gank more, so they shouldn't have such fast clears. So his clear is a bit too fast, so now they're actually tuning up his clearing speed, but tuning down his ganking potential. So first up, his Q, his Power Ball, which is his main ganking tool, is getting a overall damage decrease at later levels, except for the first rank, where it's a 5 damage increase. And in addition to that, his defensive Ball Curl, the skill where when you attack him, he reflects some damage on you, is getting 2% and 3% shaved off its armor ratio on both its passive and active, you know, percentages. And however, it's getting a 25% increased damage against jungle monsters. So this will increase his clear speed, but when he ganks or when he gets into skirmishes, he is going to be doing less damage. So overall, this reduces his ganking potential and while at the same time increasing his clear speed. Now personally, I don't like these changes. I think that Rammus should be a ganking jungler, not a farming jungler. So personally, I would prefer it if they tuned it more to increase his ganking potential, or at least remain same for ganking potential, and instead tune down his clearing. But I guess they chose to go in the other direction, which is fine as well, because he does have to be balanced. But Rammus is not really seen a lot in high elo, except maybe against a full AD kind of team. So I don't really think it makes a lot of difference in high elo, but maybe in low elo it will make a lot more of a difference. Rengar, of course, he is our favorite one-shotting jungler, getting his armor reduced by 5 and his base AD reduced by 6, just because he one-shots people too easily. I think that these changes will actually make a difference, I think, you know, because when he goes into ganks, he will take more damage and he has less damage to output himself, but I don't think it's going to hurt him too much. I think that there is going to be a noticeable change, but it's not going to affect him too much. I still think he's going to be relatively top tier, just, you know, tuned down a little bit. Sona, for some reason, is getting a nerf. So on her ultimate, she's getting a 10-second cooldown nerf, and on her Q, which is the one that buffs the allies' attack speed, the bonus damage AP ratio going down by 10%, the active AP ratio going down by 10%, and the damage itself, it's the poke damage going down by 5, scaling up all the way to 15 on ranks 2, 3, and 4. So they're saying that, you know, they want Sona to be more supportive and you know, less individual individualistic of a champion, I guess you could say. So they chose to reduce her Q damage that she does on her own, and also the buffs for the allies. So this is sort of pushing her more towards a heal bot kind of champion, where you maybe just build like harmonic echoes and you get a lot of heal from the E in the later stages of the game. I feel like that's where they're trying to push her towards. I think that Sona is already incredibly bad, like in the laning phase. I think that for Sona to be good, you have to get into the mid and late game, which may not be the easiest for Sona, because her laning phase is really very weak. She has no mobility, she has no no peel tools except for her ultimate, which just got nerfed. So Sona, I don't really think is a good pick at any elo, even in low elo, because it's just way too hard to get through the early laning phase. Now, on the other hand, Teemo actually getting quite a hefty nerf all across the board. So, to be honest, I have seen a couple of Teemos running rampant. Like, there are some people who are really good at Teemo, like they know his damage, they know what he can do, and they're really good at him, but there are not too many of such people. But when you do run into one of those, your game is going to be horrible, especially as me playing ADC, I get blinded and I can't really attack anymore. So what happens here, he gets a 1.5 health regen nerf, which will affect his laning. His health per level going down by 10. So that's a total of 140 health all the way up to level 15, which is a hefty amount. Yep, it does actually show that here as well. So his armor is going down by 5, and his armor per level is going down by 0.4. So overall, that's an 11 armor nerf. So overall, his laning is going to be a lot worse, because majority of top laners are actually AD. So his lane matchups is going to be doing a lot more damage to him, and he's going to regain less health. So overall, I think this is more targeted at laning phase, Teemo's laning phase, more so than Teemo in the late game. Of course, it does also affect Teemo in the late game, but the health regen is more for the laning phase. The armor will affect his laning phase quite a bit as well, unless you're playing into something AP like a Gragas. But of course, the armor will also affect him in the late game, where he's going to be taking more damage from AD sources. So I think that this change probably will tune down Teemo quite a bit, because Teemo is quite a bit of a lane bully if you play him correctly. So by reducing his laning phase power, it could make him easier to handle, but we shall see. Of course, tier list, as I said before, coming up real soon. And we have item changes, which is just Zeke's conversions. So now there is an enchanter meta, like where the best supports are like Janna, Lulu, Nami, and such. So instead, they're trying to buff up tank supports, like those tank engage supports like Thresh, Leona, Rakan, so on. The cost is going down by 100, and the slow is going up by 10% up to 50%. So that's the aura after you cast your ultimate, that aura around you, that blizzard around you. Its slow is going up by 10% up to 50, and the damage per second is going up from 40 to 60. So now personally, I find that Zeke's convergence is not the strongest of items. So personally, when I play like a Leona or a Thresh, sometimes I don't even go for Zeke convergence. I might go just straight into like other tank items, like for example on Leona I go for Sunfire Aegis and Deadman's Plate. I don't actually build Zeke convergence. On Thresh I do. So it kind of depends how good this buff is, but it appears to be pretty good. Like the slow increase and the damage increase will be very useful for tanks that use it, like of course Thresh, Leona, Alistar, those tanks that just engage and jump in and they're in the middle of the enemy team. This slow and the increased damage will be very useful for them. So maybe this will help tank supports out. Or I shouldn't say maybe, it definitely will help tank supports out quite a bit. Just that I don't see the enchanter mana going away, at least in this patch, but this will definitely help the tank engage supports punish the enchanters if like they step up too far and they can engage on them and whatnot. So that is quite a good change. So other than that, there really is nothing. This is a pretty small patch. So we're of course going to wait for the huge patch, which will be patch 2.5 coming in what should be 2 weeks if everything goes well. If not, it's probably within the next 3 weeks. So thanks for watching the video, guys, and goodbye.